Now the story begins. Then again we're in Rio, Brazil, when Dominic i.e. Don steals the Englishman's money of the truck there with his team. Every non steals all his money in Dalva Carus, keeps the vault in his police station. He tells his son Dante. Don ruined me. When he destroys everything, Scold promises to kill Don while watching his father's suffering. His father tells him. Death. There is a very small punishment for him. Torture him so much as the devil of hell hurts people. At the same time, Domgram tied the same vault with his car and brought it out of the police station, due to which the police there fall behind them both. At the same time, Dad also chases him with his father and hits Don's car with the vault and drops it down the bridge into the river. The Don car also bounces off the weight of the vault. Haranandi enters its car, due to which every Nanda is killed but water. Dante survives because of falling. Now the story begins. Today, Dom teaches his son Brian his first trip at the age of 9, from the California state city of Los Angeles in the US. Don names his son after his strange friend's sister. But if he is not happy with his performance, then Dom gives him a lesson that you first find your friend and then hold on to your car and then your car just blow it. He then comes home with the brand, where all the family members meet. The same condition is killed by 100 in its party soldier. He then reaches his house, finding Joe in the credit scene between the Ninda part of it. Here Don's mother gives everyone a voice to have lunch. He all posts for the happiness of the family. It shows their love for another. He then tells 23 runs. The agency wants to. We can chip a high-tech quantum computer stolen from the military for them, because only tomorrow.
Being taken out of the room. On the other side, Khan tells Don. When your son is 12 years old, he will be the best of us. Then two are smiling. Tells him that the new generation is always better than the first generation. This is the difference of a father, and he starts looking at his father's picture. That's when his grandmother tells him. You have illuminated your father's name and keep us in your heart. The dog hugs him by listening to them. Then tells the lady before sleeping the same night.
Today our son said to me, Daddy, you are never afraid. If I tell the truth, I am very afraid of losing both of you. Hearing her, the lady kisses her and says nothing like this is going to happen. Then suddenly his greatest enemy Cypher arrives at his house in an injured condition, which bursts with anger upon seeing me because in one of its lessons Sai Snehi Don's second wife Alina was killed before her eyes. Also, his son Brain was almost killed, but that Sony had saved him. Now the injured Shapur tells him. Now you just understand how big a reason I will have that I have come here myself. She then tells the Doman lady that she met a devil today. He came to my office and asked for my technology and my men to kill you and your family, and I refused him. He knew that I would refuse him. So he got up the families of the men working with me and their children. The reason from my own people became my enemies, and I have reached here by protecting myself from them. Now that devil is Arha for your family. The next morning, he asks me about the truth of the cipher, then he tells. All its equipment is missing and the place is devastated due to the firing. Now whoever did this has a lot of super advanced weapons. That's when they find out. 23 and the agency has sent him on the mission on which Ramji has gone to the room. Ladies understand. This is all a trick. Here in the room, some 3 try to steal the computer chip with Khan and Ramji. The truck carrying the computer chip, the Kagard and the driver faint and come inside it. But then as the truck gets its own block, they find that someone is controlling the truck. There is no one else to control it but Dante. Now Don little nobody also comes to the room and finds his companions walking back and forth to the doctor. Both blow up the jeep and are very happy doing so. At the same time, Dante turns on something kept in that truck. Because of the sound in that thing, the fast truck sees it going in the back of the truck, so I am not a computer chip but very big at ball size. The neutron bombs and he tells everyone. The Roman asks him how big it is. Tej tells him. This bomb is so large that it breaks the entire room into 7 parts. Hearing this, he gets nervous only then quota from Ram. The car is visible, it comes to life. That's when Nobby tells them. I can turn it off. You just take this truck, Karok. All these things are also being scolded, because of which he does not let anyone stop the truck, but he opens the door of the truck. So Don's truck turns around trying to carol and the bomb comes out of it and starts moving very fast on the sloping streets of the room. Ramon Fasxt and Roman would descend into the sewer to avoid so many policemen. Now stops Don with great difficulty. To stop the scolded, Nobby puts a bomb under his car and before that little Nobby jumps into the car, but his car collides with the bomb. Because of which he seems to roll again. Incity leaves before it comes into his hands and the police arrest the lady. Now the hour activates the bomb and climbs to the highest place in the room and stands with his hand open next. When the second is about to be deflected, the policeman leaves the car and tries to stop him by putting his car in front of the bomb. But when he does not stop, Don only hits his car on a corner of the town train standing nearby. Because of which, the bomb collides with the town train and falls into the river below the bridge and explodes immediately. Falling in water greatly reduces its effect. But still his pressure is so high that the wind blows up till Milo. The pressure created by the postal bomb feels like a passion. Does. The madness of his revenge showed the entire room of Kotma's temple. Stood there says. The game has just started. See you soon. Don is responsible for the police of Saves and his entire team by declaring them as terrorists. Now the headquarters of the gas agency come to his rescue. Mr. Nobby, the previous head of the agency, has a daughter. He gets an image. This is what leads the agency after little Nobby is injured. Tesco shows and explains all the illegal work done by Tom and his team. He also misled our top 3 people. Your father also set fire to his seduction. Taxes on this tell him. Don and his team have risked their lives for the agency several times. So at this time we should stand with him and his family. Does not believe and activates the entire agency to capture or kill them all. There is a Sekli. Lady of agency. Have been arrested and taken as well as you have come first in the world's most wanted list. So does Don's sister with agency and reach her house to capture her son. Don's sister Mion Blanco starts fighting them all alone, asking to hide. That's when Jacob comes to save them there. Why does Jacob fight against people? The signature of the signature kills, causing an agency to break the solder floor and fall into the basement. After killing everyone he tells Mion. Sent me to take it from Domini. We have to go through different paths. Then he sets out from different paths to reach the Hedgega. After this, the test reaches straight to Don. Tells him your address was given by the outpost mother who recognizes me and tells him. The agency used to run on its own rules before your father disappeared. But now it is not, so how does it tell him? Now the whole force is coming for you and tells that the one who is behind you is Dante, the son of every name Rice. Then Dom tells him. You mine. Make arrangements to go to Shao and bring Letty to me, Tax tells her. It is not possible. If he is imprisoned somewhere in the secret prison, to give me his locket and say nothing happens. Feel yourself. You can get him there. For so long, Roman brings Rance and Tej out of the room with the help of a cargo container and brings Cox. Here the secret center of the test agency is reached, which is at an unknown location. Getting there, he dong. Locket shows her, which makes Lady certain. Then she lies according to her plan. She stabs him on the shoulder and shows Caggard there. Like Letty, he must have been attacked. Immediately come in and catch the lady. She leaves from there but does not understand anything. Here Don comes to his people. Blaming him here, he hugs him. At the same time the girl who is named, she comes. Don seems to know and identify with him. Goes. His second wife, Alina, has a younger sister. Congress does the challenge to do. But then, he comes there and introduces Don and asks him to equip him, and while talking, people on both sides point guns at each other. Don agrees to race to avoid bloodshed. Now there are 4 people in the race. Dante Dombiwali Isabel race begins. It is then revealed that Dante will not come and has put Isabel's car in the bomb. The theory asks Don, whom will you tell? Only then, he tries to save the person who scolds the car and blows it away. Diego dies the same. A bomb blower. Before that, he separates Domicile's car from me, which causes Isabel's car to turn around and there was more of a bomb to explode, then immediately Isabel removes from hunting. So many marriages win the dance. Here at the agency's secret hideout. The agency fills Lady S wound with the help of leather technology. Now as soon as she senses, you see Shapur lying next to you. The next morning and his entire team hacks the bank account and withdraws all their money. Know this as we all feel, then all the people get upset by leaving their mines because they all needed weapons and cars to fight this fight. That's when Roman opens his jacket and shows up. He kept all his money in the jacket on the other side. Own. Ibrahim's new ID makes because the journey ahead was to be decided by plane. Now IMS finds out. Has come together with the facility. He suspects touch. So, leaving his previous location, he finds out the location of Don. With his team coming to his old friend to buy the goods he needs from the black market, he gives the news to the agency, which slaps him loudly. Faint all the people present their over tea at the agency's secret hideout. Steals herself. He also frees her. Actually, Tadayon was the plan to get Letty out of there. Lady sees the unconscious and asks the cipher. How much time we have to get out of here? The cipher states that 10 minutes of listening to this, the ladies begin to obey the surfer. They both have a lot of fighting. Lattice faints with a loud kick. As soon as she gets out of there alone, she sees what part of Antarctica does not know, which causes her to come back down. Then, even though she was conscious, she is allowed to wear it. Here, when she tells the album, her older sister Alina has a full file of every 9 because when they killed her husband, Alina then spent her life collecting evidence of the black adventures of Harnon's family. Isabel immediately finds her fight. It shows Dante in that I went straight to jail from the vinyl center and after that the mental asylum is the whole place type of man. His. If you see about the property, they get to know. They sent all the property. Except for just one building that was still Dante's name. It takes place to search at that place. Arriving at that place, Don sees that Dante had been watching his entire family over a long time. That's when the call comes there. 2 picks me up. He was of cold ante. He tells you to end my family. Now I too will break your family one by one and say, I'm coming for you. Don't. Emma was making the call stand outside Isabella's house. That's when we come there and catch Don. Here we take everyone to a place where he never wanted to go. He comes out and knocks the door of the house. There was a man boxing practice on a punching bag. When he opens his door, he is like that. Chauhan catches up and slams inside the house and closes his door. Lane immediately sets up his computer and opens his door. From here. It is said that you were dead and started fighting it by saying. The people of the agency come in while fighting and all the people who came in kill everyone. Then he grabs us and asks him. If you brought an army to kill me, we tell him. He also wants to kill me. Only then more people of the agency are also brought there. Together, they kill everyone. They all open the doors and come inside. Then suddenly he sees. One of the bags comes out of the Darshan man. From there. The manga only runs away. The show was killing this man in its 9 text meet credit scene to get information that was already present with him that was just exercising with him. Now using a fiber computer, it is known that by taking out our money, Dante has bought an army of beetle nutters around the world to kill us all. In it, that hobby also shows a picture of his mother who, considering the children, immediately leaves alone with some weapons and a car. Sitting in the plane. Tells him to go to the toilet and then starts going towards the toilet with him because he suspected that some people are following him on the plane as well. Jacob kills the 3 and sits in the plane's toilet and then arrives in the plane's cargo area with his sister, with the help of his glider, the right sister Kolkar there goes to Senel. Here tells Amazon that you were caught so easily. I never thought and started laughing. smiling lightly tells him to tie your seatbelt. Us.
Only then you do not understand your bed and grab the handle of the car. That's when a rocket comes on their car. The car overturns with a bang. 2 gives him medicine with his leg to save the patient. As soon as he gets out of that sister, then Dante's men start firing at him. Poles also go there. He reminds Don. This is the same bridge where he killed his father. Donka shows Isabel by removing her car trunk, then we are immediately there in the Sterling of the Teddy parked car.
Asaria traps and starts it and straightens the car alone. Directly, the car collides and kills a man shot from the front. Don then asks Don to stop by placing a knife on Isabel's neck as soon as he kills the rest of the men. Doing so shoots the rest of the people. Seeing you surrounded, Isabel is kicked and left, so many kills, due to which the Poles break a tooth. A shot when the dance stands and makes a gesture. He would. The second gesture is shot by the MS. One of his helicopters was sitting on it and firing at every gesture of the hour. He then points 5 seconds, aiming at Isabel. But 2 saves me before firing. Putting so much out of God from Tetu's pocket. It was created by Ram G. He stole it from the headquarters of the agency that came to meet us. Gonzai is a small computer with the help of which you can track and reach anyone's location. Pulls from there. Tells Dom before leaving. You killed my father at this place. Then he shows him God J. Now I know where your son is and leave from there sitting in a helicopter. Don immediately looks at the tax. The bullet comes out in his shoulder. She returns her locket and says. You will stop him. Have faith, Dennis takes Dabist to the hospital. So does MMS even stand. He was saved by his bulletproof jacket. Now he supports Baden in saving his son. Be ready. Goes. So does the checkup reach its hideout in Portugal regarding the brain? That place was the first mine. But now Jacob had made him his control room. That's when Brian asks about his father. When you tell him you are not upset. Your father will come here in every condition. Then Brian's eyes fall on the car covered there. He goes and asks about it and goes and tells it. This is my new project I am working on. That's when Brian removes the cover from one of his sides, then he sees the barrel of the tank in it. Goes to the square. Here Dante also comes to Portugal with his mercenaries. The checkup's serval system immediately adds to it, due to which it sits in the car about the brand and leaves the rear gate. Dance men also come in front of him from another path. That's when Jacobin gestures. The brand immediately pulls out the deliveries of the car, which causes the barrel shells of the tank in it to stain. Both of them blow up 2 trains coming from the front, giving way to checkup from there. Teeth now. He also sits in his car and follows them. Please back up also loads the shells as soon as possible. The lever that loads it also gets stuck. Because of which the spoke cannot run properly in the barrel. Even so madam he comes from the cargo plane. But he lands in the air without landing his plane. Brain is happy to see his father who tells us that the runway is 5 kilometers from here. So he will land there and ask Don to come as well. Then he passes through his car inside the tunnel. When it seems, the brain fixes them by going behind the car and hitting the jammed Golu. Sometimes the scold comes next to him from his car and picks up Brian and sits in his car and opens the nitrous oxide of his car and leaves Don's car rapidly bumps. Because of which sudden south car breaks the road barrier also comes to the wrong side. People of the same side are exposed to the Don in armed vehicles. Jacob understands. Now Don will not be able to save himself, then he tells Usher wait. Really awesome. But it is time. Only when your brother shows the water, he turns the time barrels of his car towards the ground and pulls his lever to shoot, which causes Checkup the car bounces in the air with him and falls in front of the car of the people of Dante. All those carts collide with the Checkup car and blast it. Jacob sacrificed himself for his family. Dom feels both anger and sorrow because of his death. He follows Dante from the wrong side. Race helicopter. Anchors are trapped on his car and then start pulling it. That's when Don presses the entire race of the car and opens his nitrox and he comes from the bridge himself and comes to the bridge behind Dante, which causes both helicopters to own balance cookers collide and blast. Honda takes his son on a walkie-talkie kept in the car. You remember your first lesson, don't feel the car. Find your finish line and then fly away.
Dom kills Drift from his car as soon as he says so. Because of
The Bonda helicopter from his car collides with Dante's car, breaking his bill. Scolding S car begins to slip through disbalance because of its collision. Don tells Delete to come right next to him and jump from Brian. Brian opens the car door and jumps towards his dad, who grabs me immediately and sits in his car. Our car gets on the road. So we get the cargo plane landed and tell Don, who tells me, "We are just arriving." As soon as they arrive on time, a semi-truck in front of them, inside which petrol is filled, he arrives when Dom suddenly brakes and he sees a similar semi-truck blocks the path by coming to the other side. In this, the scold comes on top of M&M. Together it brings the device from which it was controlling both trucks. All this technology was of Cypher. Tells them that now you are where I wanted to bring you, and now a slap for you.
Then the Roman department team comes to airplane along with the team, then 2 tells me this is the trick. You guys get out of here. But before that he would have saved himself. His profile penetrates and blocks a side engine, and that missile was not amazed by anyone else, because of which his love burst from the other side of the hill goes. The health opens poorly. We always had the right Dante's family. Now the hour extends both the truck towards Don so that he dies from the collision of the truck. Don again says from, "I first took your money, then your freedom sugar, and now I will take away your family." The same Brian tells his father. You trust. Don smiles lightly listening to him and then tells Vadante, "You made a mistake. I did not take my car away from me." On saying this, before the doctor collides, he inscribes the car from the dam. A huge blast occurs due to the truck colliding. Earlier fire came out of the blast. To his son. When burnt, we immediately open the nitrous oxide of our car, due to which their car escapes from the eye and jumps into direct water. He then kicks his son out of the water and embraces him. That's when Daunted tells you all your suffering. Now it is complete. Don looks at him. Date says further, now is the time for you to die. Saying so much, he should have already taken that statement. He coons her sequence. Don is understood by seeing him. Now it's the end.
And looks at his son. On the other side, the Cypher lady begins to cross the ice of Antarctica on foot. Then he climbs a hill like both of them, then see that a submarine had broken the ice. She has come up and out of which prison comes out, and she is very happy because she had sacrificed herself in saving us in this lesson. But now she was alive like a begging. The lady is surprised to see him, then Cypher asks him, "Do you still find my plan poor, and this?"